Boris Johnson's Queen's speech has been branded an insult to the whole nation as he came under attack from Keir Starmer. The Prime Minister was angrily accused of trying to run away from the Tories' record of the last 10 years as he published a lackluster Queen's speech packed with distant promises. Sir Keir said the PM was dragging his feet on the government's promises to level up the country after a bill to tackle the issue was left out of the Queen's speech, with only a future white paper instead. He prompted further criticism by delaying plans to tackle the social care crisis despite promising to fix the crisis once and for all almost 2 years ago. Labour leader Keir Starmer blasted, "In the last year the pandemic has brutally exposed the consequences of that decade of neglect." He added, "This Queen's speech merely papers over the cracks. It's packed with short-term gimmicks and distant promises. This government is never short of those. But it misses the urgency and scale of the transformation that is needed in our economy, in our public services, and our society. And it lacks the ambition or the plan to achieve it." Mr. Johnson was accused of having the wrong priorities by choosing the middle of the pandemic to launch a string of culture war-style crackdowns. The Queen announced new legislation aimed at reforming education for older teenagers and adults in what Mr. Johnson pledges will be rocket fuel for his levelling up agenda. But none of the 30 bills are a firm plan for social care or a solid set of changes to fulfill his goal of levelling up. Instead, Her Majesty devoted just 9 words to the crisis-hit sector. Proposals on social care reform will be brought forward. Care groups piled pressure on ministers to act more urgently. The government said only that it would bring forward proposals in 2021 to reform funding of care homes, and didn't say what. That is despite the PM claiming in 2019 he had prepared a clear plan to change how people pay for their care. Labour's leader said, "It is unforgivable that there is no clear plan to fix social care. I remind the House that it's now 657 days since the Prime Minister stood on the steps of Downing Street and said, 'We will fix the crisis in social care with a clear plan we have prepared.'" Sir Keir said there was no funding, no timescale and no details, adding, "Failure to act for a decade was bad enough. But failure to act after the pandemic is nothing short of an insult to the whole nation." Mr. Johnson promised he will kick-start a public inquiry into his handling of COVID before the next Queen's speech, usually a year. He insisted there was a bright future to look forward to. He told MPs, "As life comes back to our great towns and cities, like some speeded-up Walt Disney film about the return of spring to the tundra, we can feel the pent-up energy of the UK economy. The suppressed fizz, like a pressurized keg of beer about to be cautiously broached on Monday, in an indoor setting." But Sir Keir slammed the speech, saying, "Once again, it is a chance that has been squandered." He added, "Even before this pandemic there were 5.7 million people in low pay or insecure work, 4.2 million children growing up in poverty, class sizes at their highest for 20 years, 1 in 7 adults unable to get the social care they need, and Britain with one of the worst levels of regional inequality in Europe. Most shocking of all, life expectancy stalled for the first time in a century. That is the record of the last 10 years. That is the record the PM is trying to run away from today."